Find out a bit more about what's going on in Russia today. We're joined in the studio by our senior producer, Asiya Rogov. Now, Asiya, I know you have deep connections there, obviously your life coming from Moscow. So all this is striking, shocking to all Russians looking in from outside of. First on this mobilization, a lot of speculation, a lot of uncertainty. How much is actually known about what's happening now, what's about to happen, and how's this supposed to play out in Russia?
We know what the Russian officials tell us. Basically, they say 5,000 Russian troops died in Ukraine, 100,000 Ukrainians died,
wow.
And that's why they are mobilizing 300,000 people from reserve. There will be 3 waves of the mobilization. The first one is people in an active reserve up to 35 years old who have been in the military, who have military experience, who know how to hold a gun.
So the rational batch of people, those young, military experience, okay.
The interesting thing in this is that Putin announced that yesterday. The moment he announced, people started getting the notifications like straight away.
So there's reports
there are reports of people being taken from work.
Wow.
Buses are being organized. Some people who work for the government offices are being taken straight from work into the centers of, I don't know how you say this, mobilization
draft centers, yeah.
Basically this. So then there's going to be a second wave of people up to 40, and then the third wave of people up to 50. Of course, you have to be like physically fit.
Okay.
But criteria. You don't know how quickly these waves are gonna change.
Yeah.
So that's the scary part.
Now, I want to address the numbers you're saying. I mean, how is the Kremlin reconciling with this? They're saying 5,000 killed. I mean, just for historical perspective, and we discussed this a bit, the official figures, the 5,000 dead. I mean, that's equaled more or less to the Chechen wars, where no reserves were mobilized. This is the largest call-out since World War II in Russia, as far as we know right now. How are they reconciling? How are they explaining this or messaging this to the public?
They're not.
It's necessary.
They're not. Okay. This is the craziest thing is that I don't know if Russian people think logically, or they just, it's like a mob mentality of the Russian people who are used to just getting information from the government and believing everything they say.
Are they feeling threatened? Are people feeling threatened, do you think, for real?
Listen, we saw the protests, and people go out to protest because they know what it means. It means that their sons, their boyfriends, their husbands might not come back. The Russian army is understaffed, under-equipped, and the basic military.
I mean, nothing's going right.
Military training they got is it was a very long time ago.
Right.
Okay, it's not like in Israel. You don't get a yearly training to remember,
keep yourself fresh, to be ready. I mean, that's right.
You're done with the military service in your 20s, and then you're done for life.
There's another layer to this that is about to come into play here. This referendum taking place that's incorporates a large swath of Ukraine, not just those eastern contested provinces. That's expected to pass, obviously, with a landslide. The Russian people are apparently going to vote and say, yes, this is all part of Russia. How does that change the game?
Drastically. So imagine there are 2 regions, Donetsk and Lugansk, and then there are 2 regions of Kherson and Zaporizhia. Yeah. All of them will join Russia the moment this happens. And listen, let's not fool ourselves. It's going to happen. Yeah. There are also reports of inside Russia that government offices are asking for people to actually force them to go and not protest, but in support of this.
Okay.
In support
Conditioning
of this.
the government workers
so the moment this ends on September 27th, I'm sure within hours we will know the results. So that means that any attack of Ukraine on this territory, trying to gain control of this territory, will mean that it's an attack on Russia.
Dramatic implications here. Obviously, we don't need to be making it any more dramatic than it is. It's an incredible situation playing out there. Asiya, thanks for joining us on this. Stay tuned.